Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Cadet Skina, and I will be the narrator for today's commissioning ceremony. On behalf of Air Force Reserve Officer Training Course, Detachment 585 at Duke University, welcome to our Spring 2026 commissioning ceremony. This ceremony is the capstone of the ROTC program for each of our commissionees. Today, Cadets Aaron Dickerson, Megan Glasgow, and Daniel Salvador will be commissioned into the United States Air Force as second lieutenants. Cadet Courtner Crumlish will be commissioned into United States Space Force, also as a second lieutenant. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and our 2026 commissionees, and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem, followed by a moment of remembrance for all those who gave their lives serving our country in the profession of arms. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the official party. Next, we welcome our class of 2026 commissionees. Today, our national anthem will be sung by our very own Cadet Alexandra Greenfield. Cadet Greenfield is a part of Duke's a cappella group, Out of the Blue.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Cadet Greenfield. Now, please join me for a moment of silence for those who have given their lives in service to our country. Thank you. The invocation for our ceremony today will be given by Cadet Victoria Martinez.
Please bow your heads with me. Lord, we come together to celebrate these cadets and their accomplishments with praise and thanksgiving in our hearts. We pray a blessing on them and their friends and family who have supported them. We thank you for those who have taught and led these men and women. We ask that you guide, protect the members of this commissioning class. Motivate them to use wisely and effectively the talents in which they are entrusted. As these men and women accept the obligation as officers in the United States Air and Space Forces, help them to live each day as airmen and guardians with honor, dedication, and commitment. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Cadet Martinez. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce our official party and distinguished guests present for today's ceremony. the commander of Air Force ROTC Detachment 585, Duke University, Lieutenant Colonel Bradley Maxon. Guest of honor, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Nishimura, U.S. Air Force retired. Guest of honor, Lieutenant Kai Blanchard, U.S. Air Force. Guest of honor, Lieutenant Ian Choi, U.S. Space Force. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to all cadre and cadets, along with the many family members and friends who have traveled from near and far, and those watching remotely to celebrate today's special occasion. Thank you all for joining us on this important day. Among those gathered with us today, a select few have attained roles as senior officers in our armed forces. We would like to introduce these following distinguished guests: General Roger Brady, Captain Kevin Kremlish, Colonel Sean Glasgow, Lieutenant Colonel Marion Williams, Lieutenant Colonel Brenda Armstrong, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Gorvin, Lieutenant Colonel Doug Dickerson, Lieutenant Colonel Jim Dickerson, and Lieutenant Colonel Adam Blanchard. The commissioning ceremony contains several elements of tradition. Each cadet will be commissioned through these distinct steps. First, the oath of office, administered by a military officer with significance to each commissionee. After the oath, family members or friends of each officer will pin rank insignia on their uniform. Lastly, our ceremony would not be complete without the time-honored tradition of the first salute. As participants in Air Force ROTC, cadets don't outrank anyone. They are apprentice leaders preparing to assume the duties and responsibilities of a commissioned officer. As lieutenants, they are now entitled to receive acknowledgement from subordinates in the form of a salute. Typically, commissionees will ask an enlisted service member who holds significance in their lives to carry out this tradition of military courtesy. In return for rendering the salute, the lieutenant will proudly present a silver dollar to the enlisted service member. Rooted in tradition and respect, this gesture marks the beginning of a lifelong commitment to leadership and service. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of Detachment 585, Lieutenant Colonel Maxon, will now present the opening remarks.
All right, good morning. Distinguished guests, family and friends, faculty, cadre, commissionees, welcome. Today is a great day. It is the one day that the Air Force cadre and I most look forward to every single year. It represents the pinnacle of our mission here, to develop leaders for the Air Force and the Space Force. It is a culmination for us for years of passion, energy, and mentorship invested into our soon-to-be second lieutenants. This is why we are here. Today, we gather to celebrate 4 exceptional cadets: Corder Kremlish, Aaron Dickerson, Megan Glasgow, and Daniel Salvador. And we're going to commission them as officers in the United States military. In just a short while, we will witness their transformation from cadets and students to second lieutenants and members of the profession of arms. This moment marks the realization of years of effort and is the beginning of a path of service. Their journeys all began many years ago. Along the way, they faced academic rigor, physical challenges, leadership challenges, and the steady tests of character that help shape future military leaders. There were moments of success and of struggle, moments of confidence and moments of doubt. But through it all, they remained on this path. Their persistence reflects highly on their discipline, growth, and personal commitment. Corder, Aaron, Megan, and Daniel have chosen a path defined by uncompromised integrity to do what is right, even when it is difficult. They have chosen a path of service to a nation that will depend on them and to the airmen and guardians that they will lead. And they have chosen a path where excellence is the standard, not an aspiration, but an expectation. We've watched them grow as leaders. We have seen them take on responsibilities. We have seen them step up into uncertainty and learn from both success and failures. We have seen them face adversity, not by stepping back, but by stepping up. They have definitely challenged us as cadre over their years here, but they have impressed us as well, tremendously. Most importantly, they have demonstrated a genuine commitment to something larger than themselves. Soon they will take the oath of office, an oath required by every commissioned officer in the United States military. The oath is more than a tradition. It is more than a formality. It is a solemn, binding pledge to support and defend the Constitution and the nation. It is a promise to place duty before self, service before comfort, and the needs of others before your own. In taking the oath, they are not simply joining a prominent enterprise. They are joining a long line of officers who have served across generations in peacetime and in conflict. The oath will be administered by a commissioned officer who once stood where they will stand today and taken the same oath that they will take. There has always been an unbroken chain of Americans willing to step up, to serve, to lead, and to accept the trust of the nation. Today, that responsibility is passed on to these four. And that trust is not symbolic, it is real. It is placed in them by a nation that expects them to lead others, make difficult decisions under pressure, and to uphold the values of their service and the principles of the country. This is a pivotal moment for them. Coordinator Aaron, Megan, and Daniel, each of you has a personal reason for being here today. It's your why. And we often ask our cadets to reflect on what brought them here, what inspired them to pursue this particular path. We want them to very much appreciate their why, their purpose, because that is fundamentally who they are. So as you come on stage and prepare to take the oath, remember your why. When joining this program, when joining the military, when accepting a commission is entirely voluntary, it is your why that empowers you, so remember it. As you reflect on that, also reflect on this. You did not get here to this point alone. Behind each of you is a network of support, of family, friends, cadre, fellow cadets that have believed in you, that have challenged you, and that have supported you in big and small ways. So take a moment to recognize them and to thank them. Your journey and your successes are reflections of that investment into you. In closing, I leave you with this. We are proud of you. We trust you. So lead well, serve honorably, and always take care of your troops. Today is a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Maxson. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest of honor today is Lieutenant Colonel Nishimura. Lieutenant Colonel Michael J. Nishimura was the commander of Air Force ROTC Detachment 585 from 2021 to 2024. Commissioned through ROTC at Indiana University in 2003, he has served in a wide range of leadership roles, including squadron commander, operations officer, and executive assistant at the strategic level. He has also worked internationally with Royal Thai Air Force and within the Pacific Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Nishimura has deployed in support of Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom, and previously commanded in the 509th Logistics Readiness Squadron at Whiteman Air Force Base, home of the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. He holds advanced degrees in business and international relations and is a distinguished graduate of the Marine Corps Command and Staff College. He is now the Director of Business Development to the Department of Defense for Varda Space Industries. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Colonel Nishimura.
Thank you, Cadet Sakina. First off, can I get a round of applause to Cadet Greenfield for that amazing rendition? And then also Cadet Martinez for her invocation as well. That was fantastic, so thank you guys. So good morning. I'm genuinely excited to be here back on campus for such a monumental day in the lives of these 4 outstanding cadets. We all have the incredible honor of watching them raise their right hands and taking the oath of office, officially stepping into their roles as leaders in the United States Air Force and Space Force. Before I talk about our cadets and everything, I want to give a huge warm welcome to our family members that made this happen. Judge Tatiana Salvador and Mr. Julio Salvador, Colonel Sean and Jennifer Glasgow, Captain Kevin and Margaret Ann Crumlish, and Lieutenant Colonel Doug Dickerson and Zahn Dickerson. It's wonderful to have you all here. You've been supporting these young leaders throughout their ROTC journey, and they couldn't have done this without you. So huge thank you for your support. And to all the visiting family members and friends who made it today, thank you. Your support means everything. This ROTC class was my recruiting class. Back in fall 2021, as the new det commander, my recruiting officer got medically discharged right in the middle of peak recruiting season. So I put on several hats. I was the detachment commander, the department chair, professor of AS 400s and 300s, and I dove headfirst into the wing's recruiting system. I started making phone calls, setting up Teams meetings, and quickly learned a painful truth. Recruiting is hard. It's even harder when you try to convince absolute rock stars to choose us. These weren't your average high school seniors. My dream school back in the day was a solid state college with a JUCO as a safety net. These young leaders, their reach schools were Duke, and their safety schools were places like Yale or Stanford. So pretty much any school they wanted to go to, they can attend. As I worked through the list and meeting with their students and the family members here today, one thing hit me immediately. This incoming class was different. They were all high achievers with type A drive, hungry to lead, ready to learn, and determined to do more with their lives. From their very first semester, I had a front row seat to their transformation. They learned the fundamentals of leadership and followership, group problem solving, drill and ceremony, Air Force and Space Force history and heritage, and most importantly, how to fail forward, fail fast, and learn from those mistakes. I had the privilege of PTing with them twice a week, watching them with our lead in Leadership Laboratory, and then teaching or briefing whenever I could. They just kept growing. Last year, after I retired from the Air Force, the cadets invited me back to talk about educational opportunities. I've chased nearly every benefit and professional military education possible for Air Force officers, so I had plenty to share. During that session, one cadet asked a great question. He said, "Sir, what's the biggest difference between military and civilian careers?" And my answer was simple: leadership. In the civilian world, you often get promoted to different ranks or different levels for technical skill, and then thrown into a leadership role without very little training. In the military, leadership starts on day one, and for these cadets, their training started at new student orientation. They've been building that foundation for 4 straight years. But before we talk about the weight of the oath of office that they're about to take, let's take a moment to celebrate these 4 leaders sitting before us. Cadet Erin Dickerson, rock star. I knew the second she walked into the det for her scholarship interview that she was special. High IQ, even higher EQ, and rock solid integrity, even when it's hard to take the right action. As Master Sergeant Rosa Murphy likes to say, Cadet Dickerson has this personality that someone should study, bottle it up, and sell on the black market. I'll never forget one moment during her freshman year. She just finished her first PT test of the season. Everyone was hooting, hollering, high-fiving each other, stretching, cooling down. Then I spotted Cadet Dickerson. She sprinted across the field to the far turn of the track, and then she started pacing with the slower runners, encouraging them until every single cadet finished the race. She could have stayed with her friends, but she chose leadership instead. That's the real deal. Academically, she crushed it, majoring in Asian and Middle Eastern studies, minoring in political science, concentrating in Turkish, and writing a thesis on remaking of coercive power in Turkey under the AICP that a professor called a genuine contribution to the field. Now, while most parents have pictures from their kids in crayon on the fridge and stuff, I hear that there might be a framed, signed copy of the thesis in Dad's office. Next stop for Erin, Harvard, earning a master's in Middle Eastern Studies under a delayed entry program. After that, undergraduate pilot training with the dreams of flying C-130s or C-17s. There's literally nothing this leader can't do. And even though she chases big goals, she's wise enough to know that great leaders sometimes need to take a knee and remember what matters most, family. Cadet Courtner Crumlish, quick-witted superstar. Court has exceptional integrity, a brilliant mind, and is someone that I believe one day will be able to lead at the highest executive level. When I was a commander, I made it a point to watch how cadets carried themselves when no one was looking. Court consistently lived by the values, the core values, and on and off the field. He stepped up as leader of our I-5 Space Organization, which is our national support group tied to Space Force. He also orchestrated the massive annual Patriot Games, coordinating with 7 detachments and over 200 cadets statewide. When I asked him about the experience, he said it was the most exciting and also the hardest challenge of his Air Force ROTC career, dealing with last-minute venue crises, endless planning hours, but he lit up when he talked about how his team pulled it off. And yes, Duke won for the 3rd consecutive year in a row. He was also leader of his Christian ministry group, Reformed University Fellowship, handling all the audiovisual needs on campus. After an unforgettable 4 years at Duke, majoring in mechanical engineering at the Pratt School, Court was selected for the prestigious Strategic Scholar Program. He's headed to Purdue for a Master of Science in Aeronautical and Astronautical Engineering before his first operational Space Force assignment. The future is bright. Cadet Megan Glasgow, everyone's favorite person and the behind-the-scenes master and leader. Running a detachment means constant projects and moving parts for both cadre and cadet alike. Megan quietly stepped up, took ownership, and made things happen while staying an incredibly collaborative teammate. She helped build common ground so everyone could focus on our mission dedicated to building future officers and supporting a higher calling. In one of the coolest stories, her father, Colonel Glasgow, was commissioned here and later retired in this same place. Megan helped and planned and participated in his retirement ceremony, and now she begins her own Air Force journey on this very same ground. Cadet Glasgow majored in mechanical engineering with a certification in aerospace engineering and was the president of Duke Aero, Duke's student-led rocketry club. Like Cadet Crumlish, she earned a spot in the Strategic Scholars Program and will head to Purdue this fall to get her master's in aeronautical and astronautical engineering. After that, she's likely bound for one of our major engineering test centers. She's going to undoubtedly thrive in the Air Force. And last but not least, Cadet Daniel Salvador, my walk-on. And I say that with total admiration and respect. Duke students arrive knowing that they have the world at their feet. In his sophomore year, Daniel walked onto our program. One day, Master Sergeant Rosa Murphy came into my office with a pitch. She said, "Sir, we have one more You Can Fly scholarship left. I recommend Cadet Salvador." I instantly saw the wisdom. He wasn't on scholarship and could walk away as easily as he walked onto our program. My eyes lit up. I called him. He was at a family wedding in Columbia, and I offered him a chance to fly for 15 hours over a course of 2 weeks. He jumped at the chance. When I recently asked him what made him stay, he said it was the opportunity to fly, even though his real goal was to become a cyber officer. So thank you, Sergeant Arlen, for making that happen. Daniel is one of the most poised, articulate, caring, and resilient leaders. He always puts his teammates first. He's headed to Keesler Air Force Base to learn the fundamentals of his career field, with hopes of earning the 17S AFSC and working high-end offensive and defensive cyber operations at the national level from Lackland Air Force Base. I have complete faith that he will get there. These are our cadets. I asked them what would they say to their parents about their Duke experience in ROTC, and every single one of them said, I want to tell my parents thank you for the support and for always being there for me. And now on to the purpose of the oath, and trust me, I'll be brief here. Today's commissioning is profoundly special. It is a personal milestone and a sacred professional one. To receive a military commission is to be granted esteem, respect, privilege, and reward, but above all, enormous responsibility. You are soon to become officers in the greatest military in the world. What makes our system unique is that you don't swear allegiance to an individual or party. You pledge your loyalty to the Constitution of the United States and the principles it represents. By taking this oath, you formally accept the power and duty to lead, to serve, and to defend those principles within the document. When you finish those words today, you will have completed years of training, long hours, and countless leadership lessons. You will officially become Air Force and Space Force officers. But let me be honest, the journey doesn't end here. It gets harder. I've lived deployments where the sun rises and sets again before I get a chance to go put my head down for some nap, for some shut-eye. The Air Force and Space Force will demand a lot from you. Performing under pressure, making smart decisions when you're exhausted, stepping up to even greater responsibility, pursuing more education, and yes, giving more of your time. Most importantly, they'll ask you to take care of your people, the airmen and guardians you have the profound privilege to lead. Always remember that the mission succeeds through them. So stay sharp, stay humble, and never stop learning. With every new assignment, keep adding tools to your leadership toolkit. Remember that you owe it to your teammates to show up and be the best version of yourself every single day you wear this uniform. I'm so proud to call each of you my fellow airmen and guardians. Congratulations, class of 2026. Now go out there, make us proud.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Nishimura. Ladies and gentlemen, our second and third guests of honor are recent graduates of our program who sat in the seats of our commissionees just 1 year ago. These individuals, Lieutenant Ian Choi and Lieutenant Kai Blanchard, have since been serving the United States Air and Space Forces. Lieutenant Ian Choi is a second lieutenant in the United States Space Force and a graduate of Duke University, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, a commissioned alumnus of ROTC Detachment 585. He is currently a master's student at the Rochester Institute of Technology via the Air Force Institute of Technology Civilian Institution Program. His graduate research in imaging sciences focuses on the intersection of computer vision and satellite systems. Lieutenant Kai Blanchard is a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force and a graduate of Duke University, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. A commissioned alumnus of ROTC Detachment 585, he is a Cyberspace Operations Officer at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. Acting as the OIC for plans and programs, he works with his airmen to troubleshoot security and service issues. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Choi and Lieutenant Blanchard.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today to celebrate the achievements of our future officers. It is truly an honor to stand before you here, and without your support, we wouldn't have the outstanding airmen that we have here today. I'm Second Lieutenant Kai Blanchard.
And I am Second Lieutenant Ian Choi, and we have had the distinct privilege of serving alongside these graduates today, learning with them, growing with them, and watching them become the officers they will become today.
It is truly an honor to stand before you and speak on their behalf. And so with that, we have a few parting words we would like to impart on our friends. To Courtner, your intellectual curiosity makes you a standout. Your inquisitive nature is what's going to get you far in life, both in the Air and Space Force, inside and outside the military, as you never settle for just simply knowing enough. You seek to understand the why and turn that understanding into something others can benefit from. We saw this highlighted when you were leading the I-5 program, where you introduced cadets to the Space Force and more niche topics, such as cyber, that regular ROTC curriculum just doesn't cover. It's beyond evident that you invest not only in yourself, but in the people around you. And this applies both academically and socially, because a smaller instance is when I told you about how I was assigned to Biloxi, Mississippi, and I was excited for the beaches over there. And then you told me just to keep going straight past that and go right over to Alabama because the beaches over there are terrible. When I got over there, lo and behold, that beach water causes rashes.
To Aaron, you've never been comfortable with being stagnant, which is one of your greatest strengths. Your investments in changing the detachment's culture environment have always set you apart from your peers. From training with the German Armed Forces to your tenure as the wing commander, you have made it abundantly clear that you are not afraid of change. You consistently sought the harder path while motivating others around you to do the same. I can speak to this personally. To this day, I have a fear of heights, but Aaron fully convinced me to go on to the climbing wall at Wilson Gym, and I spent about 30 minutes shaking on the wall, couldn't go up or down. But you still convinced me to do it. And that is exactly the point. You not only push your own boundaries, but you bring everyone else along with you. That's what real leadership looks like, and it has defined everything you've done here at the detachment.
Right. To Megan, your ability to process and think ahead is unmatched. Time and time again, you've demonstrated a keen ability to absorb information quickly and apply it decisively. You've excelled in every single role you've held at this detachment, always hitting the ground running, never needing a trial run to test your ideas or needing more time to flex your work. Your leadership has been inspiring to witness, as you already struck a perfect balance between letting people figure things out for themselves, while also not letting them drown and stepping in when you need to. You have cadets meet you where your standards are, and you don't allow them to settle for anything less than they deserve. We saw this both inside and outside ROTC, as you've aced every single test to successfully go homeless, living in a tent outside of our gym just to secure front row seats for the Duke and UNC basketball game.
Lastly, to Daniel, your journey until today has been a little different compared to your peers. You started this commitment for excellence a semester after everyone else. Despite this, you not only caught up to your peers, but you pushed forward and exceeded the expectations set for you. What carried you here was something that cannot be taught, an unshakable positivity that makes every room better the moment you walked in. Whether it's you coming in and giving a speech, or coming in and dancing salsa in the middle of the room for no reason. I remember your first year participating in Patriot games, and despite the limited interactions with your peers, you became our secret weapon for every team and wound up on everyone's starting roster. The hype and synergy were impeccable. That optimism, combined with your natural charisma and ability to ring people in, to make people genuinely believe in an idea and commit to it. That is your greatest strength, and we hope that you never lose it.
With all that said, I hope the four of you recognize a common shared thread. Your class stands out because of your special traits and your strengths. You utilize that to create special bonds with everyone you interact with. The culture your class has developed is truly inspiring, and the connections amongst your peers really show how the program has and will continue to grow. When we first started our journey here, we didn't have no more than 35 cadets in the entire detachment. Now you're all struggling just to find classrooms with enough space to teach everybody. I think that's a testament to the community and the culture that each of you had a hand in shaping.
Despite over 350,000 personnel currently serving in the Air and Space Force, we cannot stress how small this community is. The people you've met from your experiences in ROTC, such as field training, Project Go, and Patriot Games, will become recurring individuals in your life. Interacting with them and working with them on the daily. Don't take any of these relationships for granted, as there is so much to learn from everyone else, but more importantly, these relationships will help you grow so that you can teach and guide others to be better.
We could not be more proud to call you our friends, and we are not surprised by the ever-growing list of achievements that you have earned and will continue to earn for yourselves, and to see where you guys are today. We are proud to serve alongside these remarkable individuals and look forward to the possibility of crossing paths again.
We're proud to call you our fellow airmen and guardians. Welcome to the Air and Space Force, and we can't wait to see what you will accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Lieutenant Colonel Matson will now present a gift to our guests of honor on behalf of Detachment 585 as a token of our appreciation. And now, the moment we have all been anticipating, the commissioning of our 4 senior cadets into United States Air Force and Space Force. Before we begin, our detachment would like to congratulate Senior Cadet Dylan Cawley. Cadet Cawley completed 4 years of Air Force ROTC alongside our commissionees and is pursuing an opportunity to attend Marine Corps Officer Candidate School with an air contract. Let us now commission our cadets. Courtner Crumlish is a Space Force cadet from Mooresville, Alabama. He will graduate from Duke with a degree in mechanical engineering. As an undergraduate, he worked on engineering projects designing drones and hydrofoils. He also interned with the Army Development Command, researching advanced manufacturing technology. Through ROTC, he attended azimuth space training at the U.S. Air Force Academy. After commissioning in the Space Force, he will head to Purdue University to get a master's in astronautical engineering through the Air Force ROTC Strategic Scholars Program. Courtner Crumlish, please come forward. Cadet Crumlish is being sworn into the United States Space Force by his father, Captain Kevin G. Crumlish.
State your name.
I, Courtner Crumlish,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office
on which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God.
Lieutenant Crumlish's lieutenant bars are being pinned on by Father Captain Kevin G. Crumlish, Mother Margaret Ann Crumlish, Grandmother Nora Crumlish, and Grandfather Private Kevin B. Crumlish. I now present to you Second Lieutenant Courtner Crumlish. Lieutenant Crumlish's first salute will be given by his grandfather, Private Kevin B. Crumlish. And now present to you Second Lieutenant Courtner Crumlish. Erin Dickerson is a cadet from Durham, North Carolina. She will be a graduate from Duke with a distinction in Asian and Middle Eastern Studies with a minor in political science. As an undergraduate, Erin served on the Student Committee for Provost Initiative on the Middle East, was employed as a trip leader and ballet instructor through Duke Outdoor Adventures, and studied at multiple universities, including Boğaziçi University in Turkey, University of Glasgow in Scotland, and University of Wisconsin-Madison through various exchange programs. She served as the cadet wing commander in her final semester in ROTC. After graduation, she will attend Harvard University to pursue a master's in Middle Eastern Studies. Upon completion of her graduate degree, she will enter active duty and report for pilot training. Erin Dickerson, please come forward. Cadet Dickerson is being sworn into the United States Air Force by her father, Lieutenant Colonel Doug Dickerson.
State your name.
I, Erin Dickerson,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Lieutenant Dickerson's lieutenant bars are being pinned on by her father with the help of her mother, John Dickerson, and brother, Alex Dickerson. Lieutenant Dickerson's first salute will be given by her grandmother, Airman First Class Diane Dickerson. now present to you Second Lieutenant Aaron Dickerson. Megan Glasgow is a cadet from Johnson City, Tennessee. She will graduate with a degree in mechanical engineering and a certificate in aerospace engineering. Megan has been highly involved in Duke's Pratt School of Engineering. She served in multiple technical roles and as the president of Duke Aero, Duke's student-led high-powered rocketry team. Megan also worked as an engineering intern for Lockheed Martin Rotary and Mission Systems during the summer and throughout her senior year. After graduation, Megan will pursue a master's in aerospace engineering from Purdue University through the Air Force ROTC Strategic Scholars Program. At Purdue, Megan will work on high-speed compressor research and the Purdue Propulsion Labs. Megan Glasgow, please come forward. Cadet Glasgow is being sworn into the United States Air Force by her father, Colonel Sean Glasgow.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Megan Jane Glasgow,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear to support and defend
do solemnly swear to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
to bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
to bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and I will well and faithfully discharge
and I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Lieutenant Glasgow's lieutenant bars are being pinned on by her mother, Jennifer Glasgow, sister, Caitlin Glasgow, and brother, Doug Glasgow. Lieutenant Glasgow's first salute will be given by her cadre, Master Sergeant Roselle Murphy. I now present to you Second Lieutenant Megan Glasgow. Daniel Salvador is a cadet from Jacksonville, Florida. He will graduate from Duke University with a double major in computer science and economics. As an undergraduate, he served as an executive council member of Sabrosora, Duke's premier Latin dance club, an orientation leader for Project Play, a resident assistant for first-year students, and president of his fraternity. Through ROTC, he had the opportunity to achieve his first solo flight and serve as cadet wing commander. After graduation, he will head to Keesler Air Force Base for undergraduate cyber training. Daniel Salvador, please come forward. Cadet Salvador is being sworn into the United States Air Force by his grandfather, Major Alejandro Roddy.
I,
I,
Daniel Salvador,
Daniel Salvador,
having been appointed
having
the
been
second
appointed
lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
the second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will be true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of the office
on which I'm about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Lieutenant Salvador's lieutenant bars are being pinned on by his mother, Tatiana Salvador, his father, Julio Salvador, his sister, Lily Salvador, and his brother, Alex Salvador. I now present to you Lieutenant Salvador's first salute will be given by Master Sergeant Roselle Murphy. I now present to you Second Lieutenant Daniel Salvador. Every year, Air Force ROTC recognizes the top 10% of its graduates with the title of Distinguished Graduate. This officer's potential, professionalism, and overall performance in academics in the ROTC program place the DG winners in the top 10% of all cadets nationally from the class of 2026. Earning the title of DG follows officers for their entire career and designates to supervisors, peers, and to assignment and promotion boards that this individual is absolutely the best of the best. This year, we had the honor of being able to award this title to two of our commissioning officers. Lieutenant Colonel Maxson, please come forward to make the distinguished graduate announcement.
All right, so statistically, with just 4 graduates, we don't earn a single DG based off of that. But this is Detachment 585, and this is Duke University, so we always way overshoot the standard. So, in alphabetical order, our first distinguished graduate is Lieutenant Gordon Drummond. our second distinguished graduate, Lieutenant Aaron Dickerson.
Ladies and gentlemen, Master Sergeant Roselle Murphy will now present the closing remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, family members, friends, and most importantly, our newly commissioned officers. Before I wrap up, let me quickly circle back. There's no need to go back one slide here. I wanted to just piggyback off of what's been said. I do have a few save rounds ready, and I do feel the need to foot stomp a few key points. Now that we all feel like we're at the end of a staff meeting, I'll keep going. What a remarkable day this has been. It's truly an honor to stand before you as we celebrate the culmination of 4 incredible years of hard work, dedication, and leadership development for these outstanding young men and women. For the past 4 years, I've had the privilege of serving as your Air Force ROTC instructor here at Det 585. Many of you have known me formally as Master Sergeant Roselle Murphy, or more informally as Sergeant RM. But after today, for these 4 new lieutenants, it's just RM. Over the years, I've had the unique and rewarding opportunity of building my own bosses. Watching all 4 of you grow from eager freshmen into confident, capable officers ready to lead and serve the United States Air and Space Force has been one of the most fulfilling experiences of my career. Now, I have to admit, I'm not always sure what exactly I taught you over the last 4 years, but I can say with absolute certainty what you have taught me. That some of the quietest people have the quickest wit and best personalities. That even the strongest leaders sometimes need to take a knee and ask for help. That engineering and rockets, absolutely a women's sport. And that integrity and resiliency don't just build great leaders, they build the very best. Oh, and checks my notes. Apparently you can change your iPhone screen to black and white. I had no idea. Your leadership throughout this journey has been nothing short of exemplary, not just in executing missions or meeting standards, but in the way you genuinely care for the people you lead. Because as every good leader knows, taking care of your people isn't just a duty, it's the foundation of success. Whether you lead a flight, a squadron, or your fellow officers, remember to look out for those who rely on you, and equally important, never forget to take care of yourself. Speaking of that, I'm sure that you've noticed that I have almost always had a cup of coffee in my hands, whether in the classroom, during training, or at those early morning leadership labs. I like to think of my coffee as my unofficial wingman. So here's a little piece of advice. Make sure you refill your cup often, not just your coffee cup, but your energy, your spirit, and your motivation, because you simply cannot pour from an empty cup. And when you find yourself running a bit low, that's exactly when you need one of those classic Sergeant Murphy, what we not gonna do, briefings. And I can assure you at the top of that list, we are not going to run out of coffee. Yes, those briefings, what we not gonna do, became somewhat of a tradition around here, whether it was skipping PT, neglecting uniform standards, or trying to cut corners. These moments were always about more than just rules. They were about instilling the discipline, character, and integrity that will serve you well as officers. But just as importantly, those briefings reminded you that you are not in this alone. We were clear on one key thing. We are not going to suffer in silence. Your cadre team, your fellow cadets, and your support system are always here for you. My door is still always open, and my phone is still always on. Lieutenant Choi can certainly attest to that. Never hesitate to reach out, because strong leaders take care of themselves just as much as they take care of their people. On a personal note, today is both a proud and bittersweet moment for me. As I prepare to leave my role here at Duke and Det 585, I want you to know how much your success means to me. Though our paths are now diverging, we leave this ceremony side by side. You are the next generation of Air and Space Force leaders, and I have no doubt you will carry that torch brilliantly. Before I close, a bit of wisdom for the road. Life in the Air and Space Force can be fast-paced and demanding. Sometimes it feels like you are juggling more hats than Major Allen has ribbons. But never lose your sense of humor. It's one of the best tools for keeping perspective. So when times get tough, remember, the Air Force motto is aim high. But it's perfectly acceptable to aim well, and laugh often. Congratulations once again to the commissioning class of 2026. Lead boldly, serve proudly, take care of each other, and know that we could not be more proud. Thank you.
Commissionees, will you please come forward? Today we had the privilege of witnessing 4 new officers answer their nation's call as they commission and will now enter into the United States Air Force and United States Space Force. Over the past 4 years, they have not only committed themselves to a challenging academic degree, but also a demanding officer commissioning program. Each officer has performed exceptionally well. Congratulations on your remarkable achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me in giving our new officers one final round of applause. Please remain standing for the playing of the Air and Space Force songs and the departure of the official party. Thank you very much for coming to witness this important turning point in the lives of our new officers. This concludes today's ceremony. Feel free to congratulate the new officers and proceed through the front left exit as you leave.